Hey everyone, James here with Fish Room Fever. Welcome and thank you for joining me. I wanted to go through today and share the tanks and the setups and what we've got going on with you all, as well as kind of document where we're essentially starting from as we work towards building out the fish shed. Just kind of to begin with, step back a little bit here and get you a better view. And getting ready to build out the fish shed, one of the things I needed to do was get tanks out of it. And some of the tanks did still have plants. So I set up a rack, and we all know how contagious that can be. Went from, I think, 5 tanks with plants to, well, I can fit some more in, and that's where we are now, still fitting more in. Initially, I was just running everything off of little air pumps, the coupe air pumps, the battery backup. But things kind of spread a little bit. So we have gone ahead and upgraded to linear air pump. The 2 that I did have before, neither one of them was at a salvageable point anymore. One I'd bought used on its last leg kind of anyway, is fairly cheap. And the other, after having been through a fire and just not great conditions, just gave out. So we do have a new linear air pump going. What I did was I took one of the lines out of the fish shed where we had attempted before, and I like to always have a segment that's got basically about a 3 to 4 foot segment and about 16 valves in it, just because that tends to work out well for 4-foot sections. So I yanked that out, hooked it up, and we've got that running to aerate and filter all of the tanks currently. Done a lot of switch out stuff. We'll just go ahead and start at the top here. So this tank is a 20 long. This is one of the tanks that did sit out in that shed, which was, I mean, it's bare bones. There's no insulation or anything like that. So it sat out there for about 2 years, and every 4 to 6 months I would go out there and I would top the water off and maybe squirt some easy green in it, and then I would go on about my business. But I have, as of recently, added a second light to it. These lights, full disclosure, they were given to me several years back at an Aquashella, but they're the AI pendulum lights, the AI Prime. I had one on it that just sat out there and ran over the past couple years. And then when I brought everything in and set it up, I noticed that the light was centered, and all the stuff over here was growing this way, and all the moss over here was growing that way. So it was still growing great and still pearling and everything, but I went ahead and hooked the second one on since I do have it. They will eventually go back on the 20-gallon rimless cubes that they were intended for. But this moss, if anybody can tell me what this moss is, I would love to know. There's actually some moss that I got out of the yard 4 or 5 years ago now at this point. I converted it over, and it has just done great. Highlight, low light, anything I've thrown at it, neglecting it for 2 years. Let me see if I can do this real quick for you. Let's feed some fish while we do this. We'll do the one hand fish food open. Give them some of that. I think that's the collector's edition, the Magic Nano. It's now the Magic Small Fish Feed. But that moss, just, I love it. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you know what it is. Again, it was just some moss out of the yard at the old property that I converted over, and have just grown it really, really well for many years now. So a fun tip for you: the Nano, or the Magic Small Fish Feed, excuse me, is really, really, really fine, which is awesome. And some of you probably already know you can feed it with a paintbrush. Well, if you don't have a paintbrush handy, you can actually use, I use my tongs here. I use my co-op tongs. Now, I think it technically it only works with the co-op tongs. We can get in there and we can scoop some out. Always fun one-handed. Get it on there. I'm pretty sure if I try these other tongs back here, it just doesn't work. Like, I think there's some sort of like magic barrier that's going to prevent me from doing this. Yeah, see, look, we've got these tiger ones, and it won't let me in there. So we get the co-op tongs, and I just like to scoop whatever out, and go ahead and drop that in there. We'll get the fishies moving around for you. So plant wise, again, we have all this moss, which I love because it carpets out really, really well. It does like to try and float on me a good bit though, especially when it's purling. It's got all the oxygen bubbles on it. But I mean, this stuff will purl. As you can see, I've got a lot of surface agitation and flow going right now, but it will purl with nothing. No air going in there, no surface agitation. It just, it goes, it does what it does. And we did pick up these guppies at the East Tennessee Aquatic Association, I think it is, my local, the ETAA. They had their spring swap. Fun there, the universe trying to keep me out of fish keeping. We actually got T-boned on the way home from that. The missus went with me, and our Jeep got totaled. Most of the fish did make it. I thought everything was going to be okay. It was not. I'll talk more about that probably on the live stream I do next. But a lot of things did survive, and these guys actually put out a couple little babies. I think it was mostly a stress induced because they only put out 3 that I've seen so far, but they've done really well at not eating them, so that's nice. Get a shot of the boys up here, and it really reminds me of a strain I used to have years back on the channel, so I could go back and find them, but they just reminded me so much of that. Hey, there's a baby. Let's see if we can get it. There's the baby. But I really like them. I liked them before, and so I saw them. I had to get those. We got some frog bit. Shout out to Aquatic Marine. They were there at the swap, actually just giving away stuff. They weren't selling anything. They were giving away a whole bunch of different stuff. I got that frog bit from them. They had some other stuff. They also ended up getting a 20 tall from them because I actually don't have any 20 talls anymore. Well, I didn't. Now I have the one, which surprisingly made it through the accident, even though we went up on the 2 driver's side wheels and got slammed around pretty good. The tank survived. I tested it. It's working, and we'll look at that in a minute. And then the missus picked out some Scarlet Temple, so we've got that in there. Real quick before I forget, if you're in Knoxville or in the Knoxville, Tennessee surrounding areas, go ahead and go check out Aquatic Marine because they're awesome. Kenny's a good dude. It's an awesome fish store. But 2, they are also actually an RPP store with the co-op products. So you can always pick them up locally there if you're in the neighborhood. Alright, let's move along. Let's get some more foods here. Adjust that. Well, I'm trying to get more foods here. So tops, real quick, let me address this. I actually ordered polycarbonate to be delivered, and I was like, all right, cool. Got online. It's going to be delivered. Got the date. The day came. It says it was arriving today. About 8 p.m. I get on there and look and go further into the details on the tracking, and it's not even left wherever it's coming from. So again, I checked today, and now it just says to be announced. No tracking information. So don't yell at me for no tops. I do have poly on the way to make those tops, but I did kind of want to point that out. Now this tank, we have got, trying to get a little bit of food here. Some Celestial Pearl Danios. We picked those up at the swap. So all the fishies here are going to be from the swap. This tank was one of the tanks that was out in the shed, and it was wall to wall in every direction, full of Java moss and guppy grass. So I went through, sorted them out, pulled a little bit of the hair algae out of it. There were just some finer strands in there here and there, and have the guppy grass elsewhere, and took some of the Java moss and I'm working on another project with it. And then we've got 2 crinum calostratum that we ordered from the co-op. You're going to see a bunch of co-op plants. Actually, let's do this to save time. So, ordered 2 weeks ago, roughly. 1 Amazon sword, a water sprite, a Pogostemon stellatus octopus, a dwarf chainsword, 2 crinums, Anubias nana, dwarf sagittaria, vallisneria, java fern, dwarf hairgrass, water wisteria, and corkscrew val on that order. We'll take a look at those as we go. See if we can get this to focus. We have 6 CPDs, and they were out. We have a couple of green jade neocaridina. The missus grabbed those. I wasn't necessarily ready for neos yet, but she bought them. So what can you do? I stuck them in here because that moss is very well established in this tank. Basically was just drained and reset up. I cleaned some of the stuff. This is all on the inside of the glass from how hard my water is. But I still need to get in there with the scraper and work on that. But I don't see any of the neos out currently. That's what we've got going on there. The crinum's doing really well. As you can see, this is all new growth down here coming out. New growth over there. On to this tank. And that's like a 10-gallon cube from the Big Fish Deal Aquascaping contest back in 2020 before the world ended. As the world ended, because it ended that week, so to speak. But this is another 20 long. And there are mystery snails like all over the place. You'll see them. I'm going to probably point all of those out. But we got a bunch of mystery snails. Most of those made it home through the crash. Some did not. This tank, all this plant life you see minus the guppy grass was in here from the shed times, we'll call it. So I actually brought it up here, pulled it all, got the algae off of it because it was really, really covered in algae, and then replanted all of that. And a lot of it I bunched together when I replanted it, but there must have been 400 individual plants, if not more. And that was all from 1, maybe 2 orders of it that I had gotten before. But we did pick up some rainbow shiners. Kind of disappointed with them. Couple of things. Now the dude that I got them from at the swap, he's a good dude. I talked to him, and he's all about, you know, making it right or whatever. One of them, which is I'm not putting on him, but it's hard to see fish in bags. I want to get this one out that keeps running away, just because of the bent looking spine on it right there. I don't like the line on it. And then one of them was actually not a rainbow shiner, and that little guy with the gonopodium, definitely not a rainbow shiner. So I just messaged like, hey, what do you think it might be? It was in the bag, and obviously he's going to know what other fish would have been in there. And he's like, oh, I got it from the pond. And these are a couple of the things that were in there. So that guy's going to come out. And the one that's got the bend to it is going to come out. And we'll get some more put in there once this is a little bit better established and ready for it. The missus picked out 6 of what were deemed as the medium size bronze corys while we were there. And I was like, well, if you're going to get the 6 medium corys, I'll go ahead and get the 10 small corys that are bagged up next to it. So we do have 16 bronze corys in here. Let me get some food in here for you. Trying to kind of keep an eye on the time as well, so I don't run too long and lose absolutely everybody. I've had a lot of fun watching this tank for the past several days. Again, we're just doing the magic small fish feed, and it seems to work great for everything I tried it on. I'm just now getting to test it out because I didn't have fish for so long. But look at those little corys, they love it. And one of the great things about having so many of them in here is that they spend a lot of time midwater actually swimming around together. Alright, let's move along to the next one. I'm going to try and get down lower here. I'm still pretty sore from the accident. My back got all beat up and my leg got all sorts of boo-booed. Shin's busted up and swollen and gashed open, but normally I don't mind the tanks down low. I know a lot of people hate tanks on the floor. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but typically I'm okay with it if I set it up in that location for them. Let's hop over here real quick. So we got some bristlenose, if it'll focus, which it won't on that one. I'm trying a different phone camera than I've ever used before. It's the first time filming with this one, so it's a little bit different than the old Note 8 that I filmed everything else on. But in this tank, we have those bristlenose and then 2 pairs of these guppies. I thought they were really, really pretty. And we're really, really not going to focus. But they dropped about 5 fry. There's not really much for cover in here, especially on the surface. So I just went ahead and dropped in this little breeder box that I had. Went and dug it out of the shed and threw them in there. I didn't see them trying to eat the babies, but I really didn't want to give them the opportunity since it's the first couple. So throw them in there. We're feeding them. Again, there's all the... So aside from the Saswasser tang that we got at the swap, a bunch of co-op plants from that list, getting lots of good growth. And so I do this most of the time when I get them, unless I have a spot ready for them. Throw them in the tank, leave them in the pots. Like the Anubias, obviously not in a pot. I actually zip tied it to the sponge filter over there very loosely, just to keep it from floating. And then I'll go unhook that when I decide what I'm going to mount it to. Then I just let them transition over. Here we get lots of submerged growth going. That one's already popping out runners from the pot, so we're going to have to get these in. Oh, that's another thing. Those first 2 shelves, so that and that are going to stay like that. This, I need to get one more tank brought in, washed, scraped as much as I can, and then this is going to go on end, so we'll have 4 tanks on this shelf here, and that's when that other sponge filter will go over, which I'm trying out for the first time, the Fine Aquarium Co-op sponge filters. And I mean, I do like them, and they definitely have their purposes. This tank back here, that's the fine one. There's a lot of particulate from this substrate, so I'm kind of using it to help get some of that really fine stuff out. Get back down here for you. Here we go. So again, there's the Java fern. We just took it and glued it to that rock. It's a little crooked because I actually had the rock angled down into the substrate so the plant would go straight. Then I moved it over to here. But I need to get that done. I need to get gravel carried up, washed. I've got like a 55-gallon brute trash can full of my old aquarium gravel and rainwater because kids like to take the lid off of it. But I need to get it brought up into some of these tanks. There's the Pogo, as you can see, transitioning really well. Water Sprite, water wisteria, and then I got some Java ferns from the swap. In this tank, no fish in that one. So, but in here we got this trio of these Dumbo guppies. I'm gonna try and get over here for you without falling in the floor. Thought they were really pretty, so we snagged them. And this here is a whole bunch of, what was it put as? A mystery cryptwindetii. So, long story short, that was actually from the scratch and dent section on the co-op site. I bought it because it is, so it was in the scratching it because it was deemed not high enough quality to go out in standard, you know, shipping. But I wanted to prove the point that even their quote unquote junky plants that are not of a good enough quality to be sent out will still do really well. The other side of that is I have plans to do a really heavily crypt planted tank, so I figured I'd go ahead and get that started now. I need to get some gravel in and go ahead and start planting these guys. Initially I was going to do a 10 and 10 project and put open these up for root tabs in half and knot in the other half and see what did better. But I mean, they're all just converting and growing so well that we're going to go ahead and skip that part. One last look at the guppies there. And then we just have some moss. Sorry, again, I've got to scrape the inside of that. My water is so ridiculously hard, it's not even funny. But that's a tank full of the moss from the shed. And there's some more. That's more of the, what was kind of the underlying moss that wasn't really getting to the light. But we've got it in there. And then this is picked out. Little derpy goldfish. Little ranchu. Officially, the name is Derpalina. I just call it Little Derp. Oh, and then I got some ram's horn snails too. It's so weird buying ram's horn snails, but I'm like, wait, I don't have any anywhere. So, got that going on in there. And there's some of that guppy grass that was filling up the cube tank I showed you above. And then, because the power outlet is right back there, can't fit a tank there, so I put that tote, and we've got some of that moss on some mats converting. I think I found my new favorite mesh to use, not the metal mesh, but the that white mesh for helping keep it on there. I'm still testing with that, but it's like pennies if it works out well, and it's a good size mesh. I've got like 4 other projects I want to try it on. I think it's going to do really well, and I think you all will like it. And it's ridiculously cheap. You can get by the time probably 1,000 feet of it for $10. So hopefully that works out well. I think it will. It has so far. And then we have, oh yeah, that was a sad point. I had to open up my last aquarium co-op light, which all 3 of those racks are all on coop lights. Doing really well. I've got them turned up for filming, and then I'll turn them back down. I'm running them mostly on 20% with like that one on 30%. But even on 30, I'm still like, I want some more algae in there. Can't grow it. This one I had on 30. I'm doing good on algae. Getting that going. I need to get some off the front glass, but so I turned it to 20. We'll see how that goes. The last tank is just that 20 tall over there, which, fun fact, if you didn't know, I won't say all of, because I haven't tested all of, but all of the generic sponge filters I have, they still fit the co-op uplift tube. So that's probably a high door or whatever the cheapest sponge was at the time, but you can still put the uplift tube on it. And I have modified my uplift tubes because I don't do well with them. I love them. I tried and tried and tried to get them to work. And part of the thought process was, well, you know, maybe it's just as the tank gets cleaner, we'll throw some food in here. As the tank gets cleaner, maybe they won't clog as much. But I can literally run them in my tap water and they still clog. So I actually took I took a 1/16 because I didn't have a 1/32 bit, and I just put some holes on the inside. And I'll probably do a video to show you all how I did that. And they run really well. Right now everything's running full throttle to the max, higher than I would normally run it. But that's because we've got it on the linear air pump. And I don't want to put too much back pressure on it. So I'm kind of letting everything run full throttle. just to show you all here real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get this wrapped up because we're getting toward the 30-minute mark. So if you've stayed so far, do me a favor, hit the like button or subscribe or leave me a comment. I love going through and reading the comments. I always have fun doing that and interacting with you all. And if you're feeling real brave, share this. Send it to your grandma. So we're going to I keep that tucked on the side. It's my little thing here. And I can tell you we're probably going to see a little nitrate. We'll just take our test strip, give it a little gentle swirl for 3 seconds. And on the ones that I have, it's 15 seconds for everything but the top two. Oh, there's some nitrate. That's fine. We're going to do a water change. Or some nitrite, rather. We're going to do a water change, but we know that we're making it, so that's good. But look at that. Look at the hardness, the buffer, and the pH. Of course, no chlorine because I'm on well water. It's some solid stuff, and we also get a good bit of sediment. It's like ridiculously fine sediment. But that's the issue that led me to modify those. And I love them. They work fantastic now. Most people will never ever have that problem. And if you do start to get some building up, you can use a syringe and some tubing to just squirt through and clear those out. I tried that. I spent a lot of time trying to make that work. It did not for me. So eventually I was like, well, how bad is it if I drill these things? It's going to have some effect, but once you get to dialing them in, it's not that bad. So I can dial that back. Focus. There we go. Again, that's just like cranking it out, but you know, I could dial it to where it actually kind of should be at. And it's still running really well. On that note, a huge thank you to everybody for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the little fishy tour. More to come. I'm going to see if I can get my oldest son to help get some gravel moved up here and a tank until I'm not quite as sore from the car wreck. But that is where we're at. Hope to see you all in the next live stream. Catch you all on the next video. Appreciate you guys. Let me pull the Cory. Go buy all his stuff. Seriously, I've got another order coming in a couple days for some more stuff. But it really is nice having the co-op handy to be able to, okay, let me go ahead and start getting stuff together so I can start building up and grow lots of plants before we even get the fish building done, and even grow some fish now and start out ahead of schedule, because that's, you know, time is either on your side or against you depending upon how you want to play it. If I get all this stuff planted and growing, that's just free plants that I'm making while I'm waiting to get the fish shed done. But that's enough for me. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Until next time, keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Don't be afraid to catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody.